Viewers, I'll be very honest with you tonight. It's very seldom that I get ahead of myself. But there are compelling reasons today to suggest that there was something very dark and sinister going on in the Sushant Singh Rajput household. The story will unravel as we go along. At 8:30, we will be in a position to give you more on the disclosure that no other channel is tracking tonight, viewers. Take it from me in writing that as the evening wears on, the story that we are breaking is going to completely divest in your minds any doubts that you might have, viewers, that this was a sad and tragic incident not borne out by a tragedy. Now, viewers, what we are going to tell you is detail that has been gleaned from the top agencies of this country. Now, viewers, there have been a large number of WhatsApp conversations that were deleted by Rhea Chakraborty and others who she was associated with in the immediate aftermath of Sushant Singh Rajput's death. Those chats, those communications have now been recovered from the cloud, viewers. And they are telling us that Rhea Chakraborty not only used drugs, but she also dealt in drugs. That is the allegation that has emerged from conversations that have been recovered, WhatsApps that have been deleted, emails that have been deleted. All of these have been recovered from the cloud, viewers, and are being used to join the dots. It is also emerging, viewers, that Rhea Chakraborty was not acting alone in disseminating drugs. She was part of a racket that stretches back more than 2 years, at the very least, viewers. At the very least. Details, exact details, the blanks will be filled in at 8:30 this evening. At 8:30 this evening, when we are in a position to piece together this entire story, Times Now's investigative team is right now sitting and piecing all this together. And the first inclinations you will get in about 25 minutes or so, viewers. But what we know is that the apprehensions of the family that were first red flagged to the Mumbai police were not wrong. The Mumbai police was informed by O.P. Singh, the brother-in-law of Sushant Singh Rajput, that the actor was in danger because he had fallen in bad company. In just a few moments, I will pull out those WhatsApps that were sent by O.P. Singh to the then senior official in charge of the Bandra district. The DCP was called DCP Dhaya. Let's bring those WhatsApps out. Now, viewers, you can see those WhatsApps on your screens, and they tell you that, especially if you look at it, the part 4, that his life is at risk. Sushant Singh Rajput's life is at risk. And that is part 4. We will get to part 4. That is really the one that counts. Part 4, when the matter went out of hand, Sushant called up my wife to be rescued. This is, remember, O.P. Singh. His wife is Sushant Singh Rajput's sister. He stayed with us 2 or 3 days, went back fine, citing his shooting commitments. Then he says he is downhill again with reports of Rhea firing all Sushant's loyal team members and putting her own stooges in place. It's beginning to now fall into place why she was surrounding Sushant Singh Rajput with her own lackeys. Her third sister, a Delhi-based lawyer who used to be with him and visit him frequently, is panicky that he has surrendered to a manipulative group of people and his life is at risk. Now, viewers, this manipulated group of people are the following individuals: Rhea Chakraborty, Samuel Miranda, and let's pull out that graphic, viewers, who was Rhea's associate; Shauvik Chakraborty, who is Rhea's brother; Jaya Saha, Rhea's talent manager; and Dipesh Sawant, Sushant's house help. All these individuals were part of what now the investigators believe is a drug ring. And at 8:30, the drug angle is going to get bigger with fresh revelations coming in, viewers. But now one can begin to surmise as to why perhaps the Mumbai police was apprehensive about getting into all of this. Number one, they had to cover up for the fact that they did nothing. Had they acted, perhaps this entire drug link would have been exposed. Sushant Singh Rajput's life could have been saved. Now, viewers, there is something else which is very, very critical that you must know. And I'm going to open this up to our reporters as well as our guests. Viewers, what we are being told is that Rhea Chakraborty is only the tip of the iceberg, that this entire drug tangle extends to high places. Important individuals are part of it. Is this why? Is this why the Mumbai police was under pressure perhaps to just pass this off without filing an FIR in the hope that a suicide case will be over and forgotten? Shut. No one needs to go beyond it. It was a suicide, simple, open and shut case. We don't have to really dig deeper into this drug tangle, which goes straight out to very, very influential people, important people, individuals who have or who are in high places. Now, I want to go straight across to our reporters on the ground who are constantly working overtime to unearth these angles. Siddhant, I know that you're going through that telephone because you're constantly getting updates from your sources. But let's be honest. The first charge is consumption of drugs. The second charge is dealing in narcotics. The third is that Rhea had an active role in sourcing these drugs as part of a particular ring of individuals. And that Dr. Subramaniam Swamy has also talked about a Dubai drug mafia link. Now, I want to understand from you, if the police was tipped off Siddhant in February, why didn't they get into it? What was the compulsion that prevented them from getting into it? A asinine, sorry to use an unparliamentary word, an asinine excuse was used, and that was, oh, we must get this in writing. That's only when we will act. But we know that's not a fact. There are High Court and Supreme Court judgments, precedents, which tell you that the police have to wait for nobody. A mere complaint is enough. So, Siddhant, is it because there are people in high places that the police did not act? Or are there other compulsions?
Well, that's absolutely right, Rahul. You know, in February, this entire written message sent by O.P. Singh to then Deputy Commissioner of Police Dahiya was ignored by Mumbai Police. That message itself is enough to understand the situation what Sushant was going through then. Second, Rahul, what is very interesting here is you see today, Enforcement Directorate has shared this particular angle with Narcotics Control Bureau. So two top central agencies are going to probe this entire drug angle. What was Mumbai Police doing for so long? When in their own investigation drug angle has come up, why didn't they act? If the local police station is not capable of handling cartel level investigation or drug lord, then there is a separate narcotics wing in Mumbai Police which can be looped in, which can be informed about this particular angle, but that was not done. Rahul, you see, this is not the first time that any drug angle is coming up in Bollywood. We all know that it is a quite common culture, and we had seen in the past also there have been several proofs as well, and even the top Bollywood celebrities authorities, relatives and friends have also been arrested in the past as far as the drug links are concerned.
Yes.
This is again in this time.
Obviously, if this tentacle extends to high places, then there's a problem. Yes, Tamal, I can see you in the frame. You're pointing towards a gate. There's a lot of activity going on. Tamal, what's going on? What's going on behind you?
Well, a Mumbai police vehicle had just come in with the officer inside. So yes, it's been a very long day as far as interrogation of CBI is concerned. In the morning, we had seen Bandra police vehicle coming in, and thereafter, we also know there had been communications from police to the CBI that the officers who were expected to appear before CBI and cooperate in the investigation, unfortunately, they are not keeping well. Some are COVID infected, thus they cannot show up. But at this point in time, Rahul, important to mention that Sandeep Sridhar is inside, the former chartered accountant of Sushant Singh Rajput. Rajat Mewati, the former account manager of Sushant Singh Rajput, is also there inside. Keshav, Rahul, very significant. Keshav for the first time is there inside the CBI office at the DRDO guest house, appearing before the central agency. And so far Keshav had been, conspicuously missing from the scene. But CBI managed to track him down, convince him, and now he's there before the CBI.
Well, it's all happening, viewers. The Mumbai police is now being questioned by the CBI because there are certain very, very strange anomalies. And I want to bring in Priyank Tripathi. Priyank, look, let's be honest about this. The investigations are now going in directions which no one had apprehended. There is also purportedly a Dubai link, and now it is all falling into place, isn't it, Priyank?
Yes, certainly, Rahul. In fact, those people who have been are being questioned are also satisfied. Few of them individuals whose family member have been in touch with us, who want to come out clean from this particular investigation, have been talking openly that how the CBI is looking very fairly into all the aspects, and every individual is being questioned time and again. Whenever these people, 6 to 7 individuals who have been taken to this CBI makeshift camp office, are being called in by the CBI officers as and when they are needed. Later to that in the evening, we saw that one of the officers of CBI also met the DCP of Bandra, Abhishek Trimukhe, and when we spoke to Trimukhe, he said that CBI has called in these two officers, the first responder.
Well, he is being called, viewers. Trimukhe is being called because not only was he conversing with Rhea Chakraborty, very, very unusual, very regular conversations, but also he was in contact with Sandeep Singh, self-styled friend of Sushant Singh Rajput. He told all of us on this channel, he's a dear friend. But viewers, when we look at his call records, when we look at Sandeep Singh's call records, which we're going to pull out there on your screens in the next 30 seconds, there they are. He had not spoken to Sushant Singh Rajput from the 1st of September 2019. He had not spoken to Rhea Chakraborty from the 1st of September 2019. But he was speaking with Ankita Lokhande from the 1st of September 2019 to the 1st of August 2020, with Sister Meetu Singh only after the 14th of June, which is after the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. But most importantly, he was speaking, viewers, with Akshay Bandgar, who was the ambulance driver on the 14th and the 16th after Sushant Singh Rajput's death, and most importantly, to the investigating officer of the case, Bhushan Balnekar. You see, viewers, Rhea Chakraborty speaking to a top official in charge of the investigation. You're not supposed to be doing that. And then Sandeep Singh talking to Bhushan Balnekar, who is the investigating officer in this case. Sandeep Singh, till date, is not thought to be a person of interest. So why were these individuals speaking to the Mumbai police? What were these conversations about? Was something being suppressed? Was some sort of instruction being passed? Was status of the probe being checked? All of this highly suspect, highly suspicious. The CBI, therefore, is summoning these individuals from the Mumbai police and asking them. But I want to open this out, viewers. I want to bring in Vikas Singh, lawyer of Sushant Singh Rajput's family. Mr. Vikas Singh, we are now learning that there is a clear drug angle. that Rhea Chakraborty was not just a consumer, but also a dealer of drugs. That's what we are being told by investigative agencies. This is based on deleted WhatsApp conversations, messages, emails. More, of course, we will reveal at 8:30 and beyond. But Vikas Singh, how do you read this? Because you have always suspected that there are individuals who did not deliberately want to investigate this angle because the tentacles extend to high places, and therefore the family's warnings of February also went completely unacted upon.
Well, Rahul, if you see the CRPC, if you see section 154, and information can be given to a police officer even orally, the section itself says so. And if you also see, Rahul, that the concept of calling 100, you know, when you give a call to 100 that there is some crime and the police run on the basis of a call to 100. Now 100 is not something in writing, and every day police is acting on the basis of a call which comes on 100 number, which is that call center for the police department. So firstly, this bogey of not giving a written complaint and asking OP Singh to give a written complaint only then they will act is completely contrary to what the CRPC itself says. So that is the first part. Second part, Rahul, you know what you are bringing out today, actually it's not fair for me to comment, because every day, you know, channels are saying that the family is wanting to do a media trial. We are not wanting to do a media trial. We have not said anything about who could be involved in this offense, because we actually don't know. There is something.
No, sir, I'm not even getting into that. You're right. No one is getting into a media trial, even though, let me tell you, sir, let me tell you, sir, there have been other cases where media trials have been publicly conducted for years altogether. I'm sorry, I'm just making it political. Give me 30 seconds, but I'll come back to the most important aspect that I really want to gain clarity from you. Media trials have been conducted for 10 years over the alleged involvement of the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi, and the then Home Minister of Gujarat, Amit Shah, and their role in the Gujarat riots. Tell me if I'm wrong, viewers, but several news channels, portals, publications declared them guilty. Sting operation after sting operation was conducted for 10 years. Even today, there are a large number of people who have a hard time believing that the courts actually came out in their favor, in the favor of Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. So let's not talk about, you know, media trials have been run in the Talwar case. Media trials have been run in the Sengar case. They have been run in every conceivable case. Jessica Lal case. Upfront cinema tragedy case, right, wrong, we can all have those debates. So let's not today get defensive about a family seeking justice. But Vikas Singh, I want to ask you, there was a message that was sent. That message we have shown. Message dates back to February. In February, the family says his life is at risk. Obviously, they apprehended something. Is it strange to you that the police would not have acted? Even though the person who was complaining was a senior police officer, yes, he was from Bihar, but nonetheless, we know that, you know, there are affiliations between police and police cadres. Surely even a policeman at a senior level raising apprehensions would have been looked into with some vigor, but the Mumbai police didn't. This is really, really strange.
Actually, Rahul, this only gives credence to the allegation that there was something wrong known to the police even as early as in February 20, which they were wanting to hide. So I don't understand why will they not act upon this. Even for instance, just sending a constable to the home and finding out the whereabouts and finding out if everything is all right. I mean, that's something which is very basic. Even a courtesy can be done in this kind of a matter. They refuse to even do that. And when the death takes place, and when the family has already given a complaint that they feel threatened that Sushant is in danger from these people, still they look the other way. And the whole idea, Rahul, was that they will actually do this tamasha. I will call it a tamasha, calling the entire Bollywood there and, you know, making them sit for 4 hours and 5 hours every day, top producers and directors. Which law permits them to call people like this, you tell me? If there is no investigation going on, what were they doing? Were they not doing simply a tamasha? The tamasha was that by in a month or 2 months, you know, people's memory is short. People will forget Sushant Singh Rajput. Family also will get, ultimately exhausted. And then the whole matter can be given a burial.
Yes.
That was the whole intention. That is what I've been saying from day one.
Well,
this tamasha was meant to somehow deflect.
Even the Supreme Court said
of this, to
that without an FIR, there can be no investigation, and none of these conversations that the police was having in the line of an inquiry into a suicide, which they had, of course, conveniently accepted to be the fact on day one, is extraneous, amounts to nothing. Even the Supreme Court said that while justifying the decision to transfer this matter to the CBI. Thank you, Mr. Vikas Singh. You've been of great help. I'm not going to take up much of your time, and I'm not certainly going to involve you in anything that remotely looks like a media trial or even politics. But I want to go across straight to both M.R. Venkatesh and Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Now, Dr. Anand Ranganathan and M.R. Venkatesh, I want to begin by asking you, Doctor, first. This is very, very murky. A drugs angle, WhatsApp messages deleted, recovered, pointing to it. And look, we are going to elaborate on all of this, and we will have proof in another 25 minutes or so. But Dr. Anand Ranganathan, what do you make of this? What do you make of this? And do you believe that if this was just the tip of the iceberg, if Rhea was just the tip of the iceberg and the tentacles, reached the high places, there was an inbuilt motive for the Mumbai police to look the other way?
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. I suspect we are just days away from a politician's name being brought out in this murder case. Because once there is a drugs angle, there is a politician behind it. These are indeed startling revelations and perhaps the strongest pointer to a motive. But I hope you will appreciate that, especially now that the CBI and the ED have taken cognizance, I, as a layperson, would base my judgment on the professionalism or lack thereof by the Mumbai police only on verifiable, factual evidence of wrongdoing. And of that, the most devastating one is the time of death being left blank in the autopsy report, as well as the delay in conducting the autopsy, thus leaving crucial biochemical and scientific evidence out to metabolize and decompose. I still can't get over it. And I can't understand why the Maharashtra Home Minister has not asked for an explanation of this from either the Mumbai police or the Cooper Hospital authorities, or indeed the doctors who signed on the autopsy report. That itself was in gross violations of the IMA guidelines. This is especially unpardonable in a case where the body, unfortunately, can no longer be exhumed because it has been cremated. This evidence is lost. Now, Rahul, I'm not saying that one should ignore all the other circumstantial evidence of multiple botches by the Mumbai police. And your disclosures today are new additions to this ever-building list. But for me, for all laypersons like me, and I'm not trying to be patronizing, the one single incontrovertible evidence of a botch-up can only be the one that you brought out a couple of days ago, namely concerning the autopsy. This cannot be left unexplained. Please chase this, because if it is left unexplained, remember, the courts can only base their verdict on the evidence presented to them. Justice will be throttled even before the process of delivering it has begun.
M.R. Venkatesh, if there are drugs, there has to be a big ring of suppliers and consumers. There are people who are conduits in the chain, and if it's going to high places, there it is. That's the reason why the CBI was being blocked. That's perhaps the reason why the Mumbai police was conducting what Vikas Singh says was essentially a sham investigation or an inquiry or what have you.
Rahul, there is a saying, there is no singular cockroach. Cockroaches are always in multiple numbers. The drugs are never done or dealt with by one person. There is no lone wolf in a drug-related trade. So Rhea was probably the proverbial tip of the iceberg, and there will be several layers, and the rot is running deep, and the stench is unbearable. Now this will unravel itself, and it will go up right through the police into several other people and several other parties who are party to this. But what Anand says is a scientific bent of mind, that the body has decomposed and the metabolism would have taken care of or neutralized the poison or whatever it was, so that you could not have done a proper autopsy. But from a legal perspective, what Mumbai police was doing was something criminal. Let me use the word criminal within quotes. That they did not have an FIR registered Please understand, without an FIR, you are calling people and asking them what will be the next movie of Shah Rukh Khan look like, or what would be the next cricket match. You can talk about the IPL T20. You are not talking about a criminal investigation without an FIR. And all that you have done for the last 64 days was a sham, and nothing but a sham. And that is why I make it a point repeatedly in your show to say that unless the Mumbai Police Commissioner, no less, is either sacked or sent on leave, and CBI investigates him and gives a strong message to his subordinates to come clean and tell us what has happened. Because now there are several evidences which will not be available, and only people, if they come out with testimonies, especially the police who was close to the scene, come out with testimonies, this matter can move forward. Otherwise, let me tell you, after 10 years, we will have a trial which will go nowhere.
Viewers, I can tell you, and I'm coming out to you, sir. I'm coming out to you, Mr. Poonawalla. I'm coming out to you. This is very important. Sudhir Gupta, who has taken over the forensic examination, has told Times Now that there are anomalies. There are anomalies and inconsistencies. These are his words, not mine. We're just going to play that out. This is a big, big revelation, big declaration, big statement. Call it what you want. Sudhir Gupta is not to be taken lightly, viewers. He's India's ace forensic expert. He has entered at least 3 very high-profile investigations and turned them completely on their heads. He doesn't talk in the air. Tehseen Poonawalla, how is it that there have been so many inconsistencies unprobed? How is it that the Mumbai police did not even file an FIR? Even till date, 71 days have passed. Is it because there are big names, willy-nilly, who are linked to the unfortunate happenstance of the death of Sushant Singh Rajput, and that these names, at all costs, must be suppressed, never brought out? Is that the reason?
I'm just going to speak in 2 lines, so I hope those 2 lines are not interrupted. Very, very brief. First question and very brief. Is this the same Sudhir Gupta chap who was AIMS, who gave a lie report on Sunanda Pushkar, who Dr. Harshvardhan as Health Minister of this country contradicted? Just a question. I know the answer to it. The controversial guy. I'm not getting to that. The second debate. Rahul, I have never in my second point, and I'll end here. I have never in my life seen anybody buy drugs on WhatsApp chat or sell drugs on WhatsApp chat to delete it. There are lots of ways. I hope this is not the same as that silly letter planted to kill the Honorable Prime Minister, where it was written, I am comrade so-and-so, I got money from so-and-so, and this is it, and we will buy this gun and shoot Honorable Narendra Modi. Please, we've seen better planting of stuff. Nothing's happened about that letter that directly pointed to killing the Prime Minister, and I've never seen anyone buying and selling drugs on WhatsApp this way. It is impossible. Not even weed. People don't even buy weed this way. Forget other stuff like coke and all. I mean, nobody does it. You know it, I know it, nobody buys and sells this way.
I've never been. Hello, excuse me. No, hang on. I don't know. You might be into recreational drugs. I don't even smoke.
You should do some investigation.
No, I don't even smoke. No drink.
The other Rahul,
no, 1 second. Drugs.
Neither do I.
Drugs. I don't know what you are smoking, sir, but I will put out those WhatsApps.
Okay. No. Wait.
No, we will put out those WhatsApps. You'll have to eat your words, sir. No, you'll have to eat your words.
Hold on.
10 seconds.
No, hold on. You hold on.
Leader, I will take a pot shot.
No, you hold on.
That's the deal. Hold on.
You hold on.
No,
you hold on. Hang on. 1 second. I don't know how drugs are dealt, sir, in this country. Sorry, I don't know how drugs are dealt in this country, sir. You might have an expertise in this area. You can inform our viewers how it's done. But I will put out. No. This is not going to go away. You will see the evidence, viewers. When Times Now
of course it won't.
Puts its neck on the line for a story, it doesn't leave it hanging in the air. We will be showing you at 8:30, viewers, the build-up to what will be the most sensational turn of events in this case.
Rahul,
then, yes, Someone wants to make a point.
To what
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Shahzad just said.
Yes, madam. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, madam. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Rahul.
Yes.
Quickly.
So, two points to make. He said
Yes.
that drugs cannot be bought on WhatsApp. For that thing, see, somebody who has so much of shelter of power and police behind her can do anything, be it WhatsApp, be it messages. Apart from that, I also find it very foolish. How can someone plant a murder in somebody's own house? Somebody who is sheltered by the government, somebody who is sheltered by the politicians can do whatever they want. That is the power of politics and the strength of the government supporting them, what they have showed in this matter. See, anomalies and inconsistencies we are seeing from the very beginning in this matter. You tell me why no time on an autopsy report? Why officials quarantined? No cooperation of Mumbai or Maharashtra government? What is it?
Well, I'll tell you, just give us 3 minutes, viewers. We are going to begin the build-up to what will be the greatest revelation in this case thus far. We're coming right back after this break. Don't go away. Viewers, before the break, we told you that the investigators, at least 2 agencies, are looking very closely at a drug angle and a Dubai link that is emerging very, very, very clearly in the Sushant Singh Rajput drug death case. Now, I'm going to say this. We're sticking our neck out because we will have the basis. Joining me is Navika Kumar. Navika, who has been speaking all day today, viewers, working very hard behind the scenes to bring you the absolute facts, the hardest facts in this particular case. Facts that we are now going to put out before you. Navika, what have you gleaned?
Well, we all told our viewers this morning that the Enforcement Directorate had sent files in sealed covers and documents and information that was sent to the Narcotics Control Bureau as well as to the CBI to look at a narcotics angle, a drugs angle. Well, what I can tell you is that they're looking at a few chats, and the drug angle has been accessed by us. I've been speaking to investigators. I've been able to see some of the information. I don't have it as of now. I know, viewers, I'm praying and I'm trying very hard to get them for you, but I know I've accessed that drug angle, and it is sensational information. If this information is true, then we are looking at a sinister, very sinister plot right here on Sushant's death. It clearly now convinces me even more, if there were any doubts in anybody's mind on whether this was a suicide or not. There is conviction in this case now that there is a very sinister plot that was playing out. The central character in this could be all those who are around Sushant Singh Rajput, the inner circle, so to speak, but clearly somewhere or the other, calling the shots is Rhea Chakraborty. Rhea Chakraborty was calling the shots. She was taking care of all the people around Sushant Singh Rajput. And there are dramatis personae in this case who we will take you through. And these dramatis personae all being controlled by Rhea Chakraborty. Rahul, we've been discussing this, as we've been learning more about this investigation from our sources, and I've been briefing you. We've been discussing it, and every time we discuss a new angle, a possible angle based on conversations that we've had, our jaw drops even further.
Yes.
And our jaw drops simply
Navika,
because
you're absolutely
it's
right.
humanly not possible.
There have been times where I have been skeptical, or there have been times when you have been skeptical. We played this role so that we don't make mistakes on air, so that we talk it out. One plays, the skeptic, one plays the believer. We keep interchanging that role so that when we put out stories on the basis only of hard facts, which are irrefutable. Now, there is a lot of information behind you on the screen, and let's just go over each one of those lines. Let's just turn around.
That's
and
right.
let's...
We have, our investigators are revealing a complete trail of narcotics. That's the big information. Rhea had co-opted SSR's inner circle. That's what investigators are telling us. Family had alerted Mumbai cops in February. We know we've been putting out those chats. In fact, those chats and that that WhatsApp message that was exchanged between OP Singh, brother-in-law of Sushant Singh Rajput, and the Mumbai police was broken here. He had talked about risk to Sushant's life. Also, more details clearly showing us that Rhea was the central character in all of this, virtually controlling all angles on how Sushant Singh Rajput's life was being led. The inner circle and the fact that the cops had been alerted in February is something that we've known, but now the high-profile names which are under the scanner clearly ring a bell. And Rahul, this is going to be extremely important. The high and mighty being involved in this Rhea drug angle is now going to explode. And we're waiting for the last bit of confirmation to get to this Rhea drug scandal, what it was, how it was all working. We are working, and last week we had promised our viewers, Rahul, that we will bring you, and this is the sinister turn that we've been following since last week. We've been able to glean some information, some things we've seen, other things we've been talking in conversations with the investigators, but we're getting the entire map, the entire ring in place. We're hoping we'll get in the next few minutes probably the entire ring, which we can then expose to our viewers. But what is clear is there is a circuit of narcotics, there is a circuit of drugs. How was Sushant Singh Rajput being affected and played along in this is the big question, Rahul.
Is the big question. Just stay on with me. I know that you have to go out and prepare, Navika. I'm just going to take 30 seconds more of your time. So there is a group of at least individuals who, Rhea Chakraborty is very keen on getting into the Sushant Singh Rajput household. These were, or at least into his life, Samuel Miranda, Jaya Saha, even Rhea Chakraborty was of course staying and going on holidays with them, and Dipesh Sawant. Now, all of this fits in.
And don't forget Samuel Miranda.
Samuel Miranda. Yes, who's already been questioned. Now, Navika, I just want to quickly ask you, because, you know, you've talked about these names in high places. Is that perhaps the motive for why we saw such a slipshod and, you know, superficial inquiry, not even investigation by the Mumbai police?
Well, I heard Dr. Anand Ranganathan say this earlier, that if there is a trace of narcotics playing out, then there is a politician not far behind. Well, that's the general assumption. That's the general assumption, that all of this cannot happen without the police knowing about it and without politicians of the area not knowing about it. Which is why the question is being asked tonight. Why was the police looking the other way? Was there a deliberate attempt? Because if all of this information was available now to the Enforcement Directorate, goes out to the CBI, then why did the police not look at this entire case so seriously? Why did the police not look at the narcotics angle? Do we have to tell the Mumbai police that there is a narcotics or drugs angle that plays out in Bollywood? Is it something they don't know? Is it something that is new to them? Is it a revelation that they were waiting to be told by us? No. So what is the other explanation? The other explanation is only one, which is complicity, cover-up and sabotage of this investigation. The question really, Rahul, is that if this was not a suicide, if there are enough motives, if there are enough questions about a suicide theory, why was the Mumbai police not looking at this? Were they covering up for somebody powerful? That
it keeps coming back.
That is the only question.
Doesn't it keep coming back to that, viewers? Navika, one very final thing. At in a few minutes, you're telling us that you're going to get information.
I'm
what
hoping,
is this? This is
fingers crossed, I'm superstitious.
So are you saying that you're getting digital information that will confirm the activities of these people? Or what exactly are you looking at by the way of...
Well, I don't know. I know there has been electronic and digital information that has given the sense. Of what we have heard is that there are emails that have been deleted, emails which were deleted and then has been accessed. We don't know in what form this is, but some things that I have seen certainly have a digital footprint. And pieces are being right now joined together. The puzzle is being solved. It is early days yet, because remember, the ED has been looking at it from a money laundering angle, but clearly excuse me, as far as the narcotics angle is concerned and the criminal intent is concerned, the agencies like the CBI and the Narcotics Control Bureau now have been roped in, and they've been roped in only this morning. And this morning at around 11:30, 12 or around 12:30 is when we got that information, and we've been bringing it up to speed to our viewers. Times Now, the first channel to bring that information to our viewers. We've been following the trail because there was a buzz of sinister drugs angle from last week, and we've been promising you that we'll bring you the latest. Well, I've made a promise, and I'm hoping, God help me, I'll be able to bring it to you. I'm waiting crucial few minutes. Rahul, you'll have to excuse me as I go and check check my own digital information to find out if something's right.
Viewers, we seldom disappoint. You know that we seldom disappoint. Just keep your eyes peeled. Watch this space. There is something big that is going to break. I'm quite sure of it, and the entire puzzle will begin to come together. Now, viewers, I want you to listen to this. This is Sudhir Gupta, who spoke to Times Now, and he said, viewers, very, very clearly to Times Now, that there are missing pieces, that there are inconsistencies. Listen to this, viewers. This is Sudhir Gupta, who's in charge from the CBI side of the forensic examination. By Friday, is even promising to bring out the report. It's going to be completely earth-shattering. Let's listen to this man.
Sir, I just want to know, will you be doing a press conference?
I have not started even examining the police. I have not even started examining the police. So, ask for certain requirements.
Okay, you've asked for certain requirements from the CBI. But any idea that when you have to submit the report?
First I will get the required documents, then I will give it.
So anyway, will you be going to Bombay anytime soon?
No, not necessarily. First I will decide what I will do going Mumbai. Then I will no, nothing to say, really.
Okay, sir.
Very important, viewers. He's going to be looking into it. There are anomalies, and he has unearthed some. He told us that yesterday. We caught up with him today. We tried to pin him down. Obviously, he's not going to give away much. He's a professional. But I just want to open this out. Swapnil Kothari, what do you make of this? Sundar Balakrishnan, what do you make of this? Are we getting closer to the point where we can now conclusively suggest in about 15, 20 minutes that, well, there was a motive, a compulsion, call it what you want, on the part of certain investigators in Mumbai to not go very deep into this matter? Swapnil Kothari.
Yeah, Rahul, there is no question about it that, this was very, very indicative of the fact that the Mumbai police had actually botched it up or was told to botch it up right from the beginning. Complicity at every stage of the investigation, that you first, come in late, you do not send the viscera at the appropriate time, then when the postmortem report is taken care of, you do not time it, you do not put any time on it whatsoever, so that it does not coincide with the entry of certain people who were there at Sushant's house who may have carried out the murder of Sushant Rajput. Let me be very clear about it. There is no two ways about it. There is no two ways about it that, that Sushant was absolutely murdered, and so was Disha Salian 5 days ago. And both are interlinked. Now, all of these, sting operations that you're coming out with, and especially if there is a drug cartel, and if he was force-fed a drug at that point in time in the night so that he becomes disempowered to battle it out with the people who were there to carry out the execution, then I am not surprised. And, the very fact that Rhea gets out of his house in 8th of June, 9th of June, Disha Salian gets murdered, and then 13th night, 14th morning, Sushant gets murdered is clearly indicative that drug cartel has a very, very big role to play. Now, whether it has got something to do with the murder or not is one of the things that the CBI needs to establish along with the narcotics department. That is one angle. The second angle is that whether Rhea was in the life only to, fleece money out of him. by coming into his life, and whether it was a honey trap, as they say. Now, Rahul, there is a very, very important legal point here, which I would like to bring. I may sound like a devil's advocate. The Enforcement Directorate will have to do much, much more of an investigation as far as the money laundering aspect is concerned, because the law protects the people who are fooled, not who are foolish. So if Sushant Singh Rajput was foolish enough to give all of his information, financial information, to this woman, whether out of being enamored by her or for whatsoever reason, now if he was force-fed drugs and benumbed by it so as to lose reason and sanctity, then it's a different issue altogether. But
Sundar Balakrishnan.
But if he was benumbed, then
Swapnin Kothari is making serious allegations. Sundar Balakrishnan, your take. And I want to bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan right after that. Yes.
Yeah, Rahul, see, about this drug, I'll tell you one thing. See, in the month of January, the family alerted saying that, he is in the wrong company. If I would have been in place of Sushant, I would have come out of the company. But he chose to be there in the company itself. And I will tell you about the lifestyle of these actors and actresses of the film world. Their standards are getting so high that they have to drink every day, they have to party, and the drugs, they have to use the drugs.
Let's not get into generalizations. Sundar Balakrishnan. No. So you're putting the onus on Sushant Singh Rajput. You're putting the onus on Sushant Singh Rajput, hapless family running from pillar to post. Look, you're slandering today. You're slandering today a man who's not here to defend his fair name. Have a heart, sir. The person is departed.
Let me complete.
Hamara sabhyata mein, sir, if you've forgotten, hamari sabhyata mein, we don't speak ill of the dead. Please. Have some decency, my dear man. Have some decency. Come on, have some decency. So what do you mean complete? Complete what? This slander? I'm not going to let you complete slander. Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Despicable. Silence him. I don't want this kind of slander on the show against an individual who is not even here to defend his fair name. How ridiculous.
No, I'm answering to what he's saying. I'm just answering to what he's saying.
This was uncalled for.
See, they have already crossed the limits of slandering the family, which we've already seen. What I'm wanting to answer back to him
on both sides. Let's not slander people. Let's not slander people on both sides. 1 minute. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to bring you in. 1 second, Miss Priyanka Trebarwal. 1 second. Give me 30 seconds, please. 1 second. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, this is a very important point of inflection. We are at a very critical juncture in this case.
Yes, absolutely, Rahul. And as I said, the moment drugs come in, the whole case explodes and there is a definite motive at hand, not to mention the involvement of politicians. But if I can very quickly in 30 seconds go back to what we were debating earlier before Navika came in. I mean, I'm astonished by my good friend Tehseen Poonawalla. There's a thin line that separates fact from fiction. And I'm afraid Tehseen snorted it. Pun not intended. And for a start, he's got his Rahuls confused. I mean, Rahul Shiv Shankar does not know how to procure drugs. But I want to ask a very simple question. Rahul, given the choice of believing the credibility of two people, one of them is Tehseen Poonawalla and the other, let me just list out the credentials and I'll ask you the question. The other one is MBBS Gold Medal, MD, DNB, NMAS, FRCS, FICS Harvard, Professor and Head, Department of Forensic Medicine, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Given the choice on whom to believe on autopsy and forensics between Tehseen Poonawalla and this gentleman, who would you believe?
I'll believe Mr. Gupta any day. I'll believe Mr. Gupta any day.
May I respond?
Tehseen Poonawalla.
May I respond?
There you go.
May I respond? I'll very brief respond. To the last point, Anand, I don't know whether what I was snorting, but definitely I wasn't consuming magic mushrooms as somebody who you look up to has been consuming magic mushrooms, therefore he thinks clouds hide planes and radars. Let me come, and he invented emails before they were invented. Let me come to the point. Sudhir Gupta, somebody Dr. Harshvardhan, the health minister of this country, did not trust. To my second point, Rahul is an investigative journalist, and Rahul should be doing his job as an investigative journalist, which he does, and break stories with proof, not put atkales and tatkales up front without the evidence. When the evidence comes in, we can debate it. Right now, they don't have the evidence. I still stick to it. I don't think anybody buys and sells drugs on WhatsApp and on email this way.
Well, you'll just have to wait. You'll just have to wait. I need to take a very short break. I'll be right back, viewers, with the top stories. Just stay on with me.